My name is Sagar, like Tyrion already told you guys. I interned at globeethics.net in Geneva this semester and worked on the My Choice for Equality campaign. In early October this year, globeethics.net, in collaboration with the Fourth Wave Foundation, launched the My Choice for Equality campaign. This campaign was aimed at ordinary citizens, common men, common women, individuals like you and me, who've done extraordinary things to tackle inequality in all parts of the world. So therefore, the primary purpose, the primary goal of this campaign was to collect compelling stories and testimonials from across the world of people who stood up against inequality. Now, equality is the theme of this conference. We've been hearing about it all day long. But it is such a wide term. It's open to countless different interpretations. One thing we could have done was to narrow down the focus and said, okay, we want stories about individuals who've tackled issues of economic inequality, religious inequality, or racial inequality, for example. But the team at globeethics.net decided against it. We decided that going with the theme of equality, we would rather not leave any field out. So all our posters and flyers mentioned, guys, we need stories, testimonials about individuals who've stood up against inequality along the lines of age, caste, religion, education, disability, access to resources, access to technology, language, ethnicity, etc. Anything and everything. So we launched this campaign in October, and we asked people to nominate a friend, a relative, or an acquaintance, basically somebody they know personally, and do so by sending in a short story of 200 to 300 words. 200 to 300 words, I'm sorry. I'm really bad with mics. So that happened. I worked at the headquarters in Geneva under the guidance of Christophe, Theodorina, and Lucy. But a massive amount of workload corresponding with the campaign was handled by Diana and Joseph, the directors of the Fourth Wave Foundation. Therefore, I'd like to invite Joseph to take the floor and talk about how the process, the whole campaign shaped up over the last 3 to 4 months.
Good evening. As been introduced, my name is Joseph and I have an initial called CC. So people usually call me by my initial CC, and I leave the floor to decide what CC stands for, because some people call me completely crazy Joseph. Okay, some people call me creative consultant Joseph. And maybe in the afternoon when the jet lag sets in and you feel sleepy, you can find a full form for CC, and maybe by tomorrow evening if you factor for me. And I remember a story that was told to me by my parents very, very long ago as to the fight between the 5 fingers as to who was the most important. The thumb came up saying, I am fattest. The pointer came out saying, people use me most. The middle finger came up saying that I am in the middle, so I have to be more important. The ring finger came up saying that I am the finger on which they put rings, so naturally I might be important. And the little finger had nothing much to say. It only said that, well, all that I know is when I pray or when people pray, I am closest to God. Maybe that is the philosophy behind the whole discussion. And we come from an organization called Fourth Wave Foundation, and the theme, if you have read, the history is divided into 3 waves. We start with the agricultural revolution, then we go into the industrial revolution, and now we are in what we call the technological revolution. And we at our organization thought that we need to start the 4th wave, which is the revolution in people. Because the first 3 waves happen outside the individual, whereas 4th wave happens within an individual that helps him or her use the other 3 waves more fruitfully. And maybe our basic philosophy is to turn problems into innovative ideas or solutions which people can maybe work upon, because we believe that every problem in the world can be addressed at different stages. And maybe at Fourth Wave Foundation, the 4 areas of focus we have is education, empowerment, ethics, and inclusion. And we have 4 very important projects running, maybe 2 related to what we are doing. One is called Nevertheless, where we have a social media campaign on inclusion of people with disabilities. And in the Nevertheless group, as of now on Facebook, there are more than 8,000 people who are actively involving in the discussion on inclusion. So if you're interested and if you're on social media, join the group. And second is Nanagu Shale, where we work in the grassroots trying to inculcate or put children with disabilities into regular government schools. And in the last 3 years, we have put over 4,000 odd children into regular government schools, and they are studying in these schools now. And the whole philosophy of what we are doing is the most important question: why social media? Why we do it behind social media? You know, a very important statistics for you to understand. We were tracking the number of people who visited the Facebook page today, and after the conference started, there are more than 250 people who have actually visited the Facebook page, which in a way is more than the people in the hall. So maybe the reach of ethics could be on a larger scale if we actually use social media in a more stronger way. Very often people ask if it is a fad, so I just leave you 2 minutes to watch this. Maybe just to give you an understanding on how the activity was on Facebook, if you see the spread, our biggest challenge was, in a way, if you don't carry the theme of ethics to the younger generation, I don't know whether we will be able to implement a lot of what we are discussing over here. And if you look at the activities on the Facebook page, the average age is between 18 to 34, where you have more than 40 to 50% of the people actually talking about this topic and maybe posting stories. And the channels that we use for the whole campaign, basically two very important channels: the website where you could post your stories, and the Facebook page where people can upload the stories of people who they thought have made a difference in the society. And maybe the simple process we followed, we started with the concept development, then we had a strategy and approach where, in a way, if you look at the whole campaign also, there is no campaign done on print media. The whole campaign was mobilized and actively done on social media. So that is what we did. Then we spread the word through follow-ups or through the likes on the Facebook page. We called in for nominations, and then we received the nomination, we organized it, we categorized it, we verified it. The very fact that it is on Facebook, and on an average all the posts on Facebook was watched by at least 50 people. So in a way, 50 people have verified whether this story is genuine or not. And then we came into creating the wall of equality, which we will explain a little later. Now, 4 months of campaign, what has it generated? In context of total number of nominations received, we have received 56 nominations. And maybe if you look at individual cases, there were 45 stories which we will share over the day. And if you look at the number of countries that responded, there were 19 countries that responded. And if you want a break of gender representation, we say that there were 19 female and 26 male representations in the whole story. And what are the key issues that were addressed? These are some of the key issues that were addressed in the form of stories that were posted on Facebook. It include ethics, gender, race, religion, caste, rights. You will see some of them, or some of the faces. Actually, 6 of them are here, and you will hear from them today and tomorrow on how, in their little or big ways, they have contributed towards bridging this equality. So, thank you, and I will now call upon Sagar to share how we went about. We could not decide who's first and who's second. So we came up with something very beautiful. So Sagar will explain what this beautiful idea is, and maybe I will show as Sagar explains.
Okay, I'll talk a little bit about the Wall of Equality first. So we received 45 different nominations, and we closed the nomination period on November 30th. All of the stories received were so meaningful, I wish I could read each one of them to you right now. But instead we decided to put them up online on our website. You can go to globeethics.net and look at the wall. You can also stay here during the breaks today and tomorrow, and we'll be playing the wall along with the stories here during each break we get. So, after we were done with the nominations and we had all these stories, we decided to shortlist some so that we can talk about these stories at the conference itself. And going with the theme of equality, we could not have picked, okay, this story A is better than story B, or the work done in the field of gender equality is better than the work done in the field of education or disability. So instead we decided to pick 10 nominations which were representative of all the nominations that we received. Representative in the manner of the region where they're coming from, not just within India, but across the world, Middle East, Africa, Europe, America, Asia. We also want to have a good mix of females and males. We also want the young and the not so young, just ordinary stories. Like I already mentioned, people who are ordinary people who've taken extraordinary actions. Later today at 6 p.m., we'll be introducing 6 of these shortlisted nominees. They are present in the room today with us right now, and I request all of you to come to the auditorium at 6 p.m. and hear these stories themselves. Thank you.
And maybe one of the biggest thought process that went is, the message has been carried across to people in more than 19 countries with just the use of social media, and maybe more importantly for us, to the young people who also maybe have a lot of idea on equality or ethics, but maybe they are not in a position to sit in a room like this and discuss. So the thought we have is maybe some of the points that you have, if you can come up onto the Globe Ethics Forum Facebook page today or tomorrow and post your thoughts. Maybe you will get a lot of responses from a younger audience saying, okay, we agree with this, or we don't actually agree with this, this is utopian, or this is practical. Some points we are actually uploading as the discussion is happening, but maybe on a personal note, if you could come forward during the breaks or sometime in the evening when you are in your room and post a message or two for the wide variety of younger generation people who are out there waiting to know what is happening in this discussion. So thank you for giving us this opportunity, and we hope the message will be carried forward, not just in this room, but to every single soul in the world. Thank you.